Hello, and welcome to this workshop. I'm Solène, your host for today. As we're getting started, I'm just going to make sure that you guys can see me and hear me well. If you can let me know in the chat that you can indeed see me, that would be awesome. I know that Coralie is already there. Yeah, you said I'm so sad to miss the French one, so I couldn't miss the English one. Perfect. Glad that you could find your way here. So I'm just going to type something in the chat. I'm going to say, hey there, Solène from Istanbul. So myself, I'm based in Istanbul, and I would love to know where everyone is connecting from, because we have this awesome tool that is the internet, and it's so wonderful for me to see every time where are people tuning in from. So I will also start sharing my screen because I prepared a presentation for you guys, and I would love to know while you are sharing where you are from in the chat, if you can see the presentation well. So Coralie or anyone else who's connected, can you please let me know that you see my screen? You should see a slide called Financially Sustainable, which is our topic for today. All right. Noemi is also here. I'm just waiting for a few seconds if someone can let me know that they see the screen well. I'm updating the chat. Yes, I can see the slide. Perfect. Thank you, Noemi. And feel free to let us know where you are tuning in from. Yeah, I think it's so much cool that we get to do this session live. And so let's get to know each other and share your name and your location in the chat. I'm going to start the introduction because actually I have a pretty packed schedule for the hour we have together, but I will be back in the chat at the end of our session for Q&A time. But first of all, welcome to Financially Sustainable, the workshop where I will share with you the 4 switches or changes to go from few clients to making a good living without having to work more. Because I know that sometimes you can feel that making a good living will mean having to work a lot more than you already are, and it's not necessarily true. So this is all about like what we are going to share today. And first of all, I'm so grateful for the hundreds of people who signed up for this session today. In just 1 hour, I'll share with you those 4 changes that you can all put in place in your businesses to reach financial sustainability. And I love this leverage effect, me spending 1 hour and hundreds of people benefiting from those advices. I can't imagine if I had to, go one-on-one in your respective countries to share all that with you. It would just, not make sense at all. I would spend like weeks doing that. And leverage is actually something we're gonna talk a lot about today. Which is why I had this little thingy as a short introduction. So welcome to you all. Just a reminder, you are in the right place if you have started your own impact-driven business a few months, a few years ago. By impact-driven business, I mean you are in business in order to have a positive impact on the society or on the environment. And of course, you want to do that in a financially sustainable way, which is why you set up a business and not a charity. And this specific workshop is for you if you primarily sell services, because the strategy is a little bit different when you sell a product. So that's why this workshop is specifically for service providers. Maybe you are providing coaching or consulting on expertise or design. You have had a number of clients already, but not consistently. So hello, ups and downs. And yet you're committed to have an impact, you have a strong work ethics, you are taking action, doing the work, you actually work a lot already. And you feel ready to take your business to a new level where you can have consistent client base, more visibility over the future, and finally making a good living without having to work more hours because you already are working a lot. So I wanted to congratulate you for being where you are today. Those are kind of the 4 steps that I see every entrepreneur take from, having their idea at the beginning to launching and then validating their business with their first few customers, reaching break-even, which is basically earning enough money to cover the costs. And then a confirmation phase is what we're going to focus on today, since it can lead you to financial sustainability. So making a good living with your business and having enough income to cover expenses, but also investments. And then this leads to maturity phase where you can scale up your impact and have a much bigger reach. And so really congratulations, you are on the second step of the stair. You have found your calling, you've defined your idea, you have launched your business, and you have had your first few customers. Really congratulations. You have started to make an impact and generate revenues at the same time, which is more than what most people do. Many people give up without even getting to where you are today. So congratulations on your hard work and on your results. Now, the problem is when you're in this validation phase, I'm guessing you're spending a lot of time doing a lot of different things. You're doing the marketing, you're meeting with prospects, you're serving clients, you're creating free content and, sending out newsletters and taking on collaboration opportunities and sorting out new ideas. And all this work doesn't really create as much results as what you could be hoping for. So you have a limited impact and small revenues. And the key message before we dig into the details is that what got you where you are now cannot bring you to the next step. So I'm going to go into detail as to why it can't bring you to the next step. But basically, you can't really, expect to do even more of that because the leverage is not here yet. So if you just push, you might experience big ups and downs in motivation, but also in energy. You could even risk burnout from doing too much efforts and getting little results. You could finish up your savings or resources before generating enough revenues. I know that was one of my biggest fears when I was where you are today. And your business and impact could stop without having served its purpose, which is even worse. This little quote I love by Pablo Picasso says, "Actions is the foundational key to all success." And so congratulations to you for taking all those actions and having those results, even if they are limited today. And basically what I'm going to share with you in this workshop is, how to change the actions you're already taking, because it's through actions that you're going to be able to reach a different level of success by changing the actions you're already taking. So today, what I will share with you is the biggest mistake I see entrepreneurs do when trying to reach financial sustainability. The 4 changes, very specific 4 changes that you can make in order to, make a good living. So there's going to be one shift, which is a mindset shift. We're going to look at automating your client experience, including case studies so that you can see what it looks like in real life, automating your marketing and becoming the captain of your boat. I'm also going to share with you a bonus surprise at the end of this presentation for the most motivated of you. It's like a limited something only for a few participants. So please hang in there until the end. And we're also going to have 10 minutes of question and answer. So feel free to ask them throughout the presentation. I'm going to keep an eye on the chat. But just know that I will be back on your screen and go through the questions at the end. Hi, Berry from Istanbul. Hi, everyone who joined us during this short introduction. Just a quick tip, because I've been attending workshops online before as well, and avoid distractions. So like, close your emails, close your Facebook, close everything that's open, and just focus on what I will share with you. To be honest, this presentation is really packed with information. At some point I was like, I won't have time to go through the 4 changes. I'll just share like 2 or 3, but I really wanted to, share everything that I know, so that more and more people can reach financial sustainability, and we can live in a world where more successful social entrepreneurs are, leading the way. So yeah, take notes and avoid distractions. I know we are online, and it's not the same as being in the same room where we could be looking into each other's eyes, but really take advantage of the time that we have today. It's just 1 hour of your time, and trust me, because I just did the session in French a couple of minutes ago. And if you stick to the end and really, really pay attention and take notes, you'll get so much value out of this session. But of course, if you're just listening with one ear and doing other things, then you won't be taking advantage of everything I'm sharing for free today. So yeah, take the responsibility of this, the impact this can have on your business. In case we haven't met, so I'm Solène, the founder of Creators for Good. I launched my own impact-driven business after doing a burnout in the corporate world. That might be the case of some of you as well. And so since June 2014, I'm the proud founder of Creators for Good, and I'm supporting corporate employees who escape the corporate world to become successful, social, and sustainable entrepreneurs. I have a master's degree in sustainable development and also a coaching certification on money mindset. And I'm really passionate about making money and impact work at the same time. I think the world would just go so much better if we stop, making money and having a bad impact on the one hand, or like trying to have impact without money on the other. And just blend the two. So this is really my purpose and my mission, why I get up every day and why I'm so happy that you all signed up for this workshop, because we are really about gonna go into the details of how to make that happen. And on a personal note, I consider myself a global citizen. You might hear from my accent or my English mistakes from time to time that I'm actually French. I was born in Paris. In France, but I've been living abroad for 10 years now. I lived in 7 different countries, and I'm based in Istanbul at the moment. So nice to meet you, everyone. And the reason why I'm very excited to share what I'm going to share with you in this presentation today is because I have been where you are. Once upon a time, my business was not financially sustainable. I had clients a little bit here and there, but I was not making enough money to survive. So on the one hand, I felt grateful to work with amazing clients, really aligned with my values, doing what I love, which is business strategy. It's really my zone of genius. I felt it was a great luxury compared to all my friends who were bored in their corporate job. But at the same time, I didn't feel as satisfied or impactful as I thought I would be when I launched my business. Actually, I didn't really know what to answer when people were asking, how is it going? How's your business? Because it was like, it's making some money, but not enough. So like, what do I say? Do I keep up a good face, or do I tell the truth? And it kind of created an imposter syndrome as well. Maybe you can relate to that. I was scared to have to give up my business if it didn't reach financial sustainability. I was scared it would be too much work for me. If I would, reach financial sustainability. And so sometimes I was working a lot, and sometimes I was procrastinating a lot as well. I remember spending afternoons watching TV series instead of walking and be like feeling super guilty. But at the end of the day, procrastinating is part of any entrepreneur's journey. That's why I'm sharing about my own experience with it. And it's actually a sign that there is a mindset issue, something that's blocking you. We're going to talk about that a bit later during the workshop. And at that time, I remember wondering if growing my business would affect the results of my clients, because I had a very qualitative approach and I didn't want to give up on quality to have more quantity. So that might also be something you can relate to. And long story short, I made 4 big changes in my business that allowed me to reach financial sustainability. And I'm going to share those 4 changes with you in detail throughout the presentation. But I also wanted to share with you the results, like what it brought to reach financial sustainability, because it's not just about the money. In fact, the money is just like a little detail, because when you have a sustainable business, then those are the things that can happen. In my experience, so after I reached financial sustainability, I was able to move to a bigger home with a higher rent, where I have now like a real office with a door, because before that I was working from my living room / kitchen. But now I have a real office with like a nice ambience, and it really improved my quality of life. I also started delegating. So I'm working with this amazing graphic designer, visual storyteller, I think she calls herself, Caroline, and other fantastic ladies. I have 4 people in my team. She's the one doing the graphic, the one that you saw on the last slide. Anyway, so they are not working full time inside Creators for Good, but they're working on a regular basis every week, every month. And it's just great to be able to provide jobs. And then I also collaborate not just with people within my team, but with other people external to Creators for Good, such as Danielle, for example. She's one of my colleagues from Canada. And together we've been invited to give a workshop in New York City for the Under 30 Changemakers Summit, which was an amazing opportunity. And I wouldn't have been able to fly myself to New York for 10 days to grab this opportunity if I wasn't financially sustainable. So I travel actually once or twice per year for my business. So this is for the Women Economic Forum in The Hague, the Netherlands, where I actually received an award for the first time. That was a great opportunity. Same wouldn't have been possible without being financially sustainable. And my reach is also in international media or local medias. I collaborate with different entities like the Social Enterprise Alliance that you might know, especially if you're in the US. Where they even had me on their Facebook cover because we prepared a workshop together. So yeah, like this is really, what can happen once your business really start to thrive. But also one of the things that I really want to insist on is the impact it had on my clients. So Marie-Laurence shared it went beyond her expectations. Marie from Italy said, it was one of the best investments I made in myself and in my life. It was beyond my expectation once again, especially all the personal development tools in the methodology. Dafa shared, today I feel I have my own destiny into my hands. I find it very empowering and motivational. Elena said, I got so much results out of the 4 months program. Ellen said, be proud of yourself. This is a message for you guys. Be proud of yourself for being willing to lead a business in a sustainable and responsible way. With Solène's mentoring, it's possible. These are just a sample of the type of feedback I got after I made one important change that I'm going to share with you in detail. But for now, for this introduction, it's just sharing with you that actually becoming financially sustainable also means having more impact, not just on more people, but providing better results for your clients. This is really something extremely important, I'm guessing, to you, Because again, financially sustainable is not just about the money, it's also about the impact it can allow you to create. So I want you to imagine what would it mean for you once your business becomes financially sustainable. So I would love for you to share in the chat, what's your key motivation? Because I'm guessing money is just a small aspect of it. Do you want to have more impact? Do you want to grow your team and delegate more? Do you want more freedom? Do you want a better quality of life? Do you want to, I don't know, grab on some, have extra time to have the opportunities to travel and share your message with in a bigger way? What's your motivation? I would love for you to share that in the chat, because you know what, it's super important to know your why, especially if money is not the number one reason why you became an entrepreneur. Going towards financial sustainability, it can create a disconnect if you don't know why you're doing it beyond like surviving, basically. So yeah, having a key motivation is really, really important. I'll check out the chat a bit later, but feel free to share already right now what's your key motivation. I want to share with you the biggest mistake to avoid. As I mentioned before, what brought you to where you are now, the validation phase, is not going to bring you to the confirmation phase. You just can't, double the amount of time you're spending on your business, I'm guessing. And so the problem is, most people, what do they do when they arrive at this validation phase? They reach break-even, they're like, I want to be financially sustainable. Most entrepreneurs actually look at already successful entrepreneurs who are in the maturity phase, who are scaling up their business. They look at what they do and they try to copy those strategies. The problem is the strategies that work for this phase don't work for that phase. Because in the maturity phase, it's all about delegating, creating a team, sharing, your message in a bigger way with, investing in Facebook advertising, for example, creating new programs, new ways to work with more clients, creating new services that are going to that are going to serve new type of clients. So creating new things, basically. The problem is, if you do that while you're only there, so this is what you're doing today, you're gonna add up to your plate more marketing, more meeting with prospects, more serving clients, more. And it's not the smart thing to do, because you need to first create some leverage before you can take on more projects. So you might be seeing that person, that competitor of yours, they have an online course. Maybe I can create an online course again. They have a membership site. Maybe I can, go into that business model as well. No, this is really the biggest mistake. This is what leads to burnout. This is really skipping a step and falling down the stairs. What you need to do from validation to confirmation is to focus. I love this definition that says, follow one course until success, the most important word being one. All right. So focus is what is going to lead you to the next step, from break-even to financial sustainability. I love this quote by Zig Ziglar that says, there's no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs. And it's so true. And that's why I decided to, share with you those different phases in the shape of a stairs, because there is really, every phase requires different types of actions. When you were ideating, you didn't take the same actions as now that you are in your current phase. And basically in the next phase, it's going to be, again, different actions. And this is exactly what we are going to see today. So the first change I advise you to do is a mindset shift. And the mindset shift is realizing that working more is not the answer. doing more efforts is not the answer. It's not. And this also means that it's okay to generate revenues in a smart way without sacrificing yourself. Because in fact, if you work so much, sometimes it comes from a guilt of earning money with something you love or something that has and something that has a positive impact. Because all our life, we've been told, money is bad, or like doing what you love is crazy, it can never work, and all that. And so sometimes this guilt can create self-sabotage behaviors, and you can actually sacrifice yourself, like work a lot so that you deserve some revenues. But actually, this mindset can only lead you so far. At some point, you need to stop the sacrificing, stop the self-limiting behavior, and be okay with generating revenues, even more revenues, without working more. Because when you change your mindset, you free yourself to achieve the level of success you truly desire. So my question to you is, what is your number one limiting belief? And actually, to help you with that, I actually want to share with you a little trick. So you might not know what's your number one limiting belief, but actually a great way to look at it is, if you reach financial sustainability, sorry, I'm going to drink some water. Sorry about that. If you reach financial sustainability, what is the worst thing that could happen? What is a negative impact it could have? And look at that. For some people, they fear, burning out, having too much work. For some others, they fear losing the respect or the candor of their friends. For some people, they fear that their clients is gonna, not trust them as much and feel like they don't have the values that they claim they have. Some people fear, paying more taxes, or having people ask them for money, and so they don't want to, outshine anyone. In my personal journey, when I was doing this mindset shift, I realized actually that one thing that was blocking me is reaching financial sustainability for my business also meant generating much more revenues than my partner, my fiance. And like many women, although I don't want to be like that because I'm a feminist, like many women, I had a deep fear to outshine my partner and threaten him or emasculate him if I were to earn more money than him. I was afraid to lose him. And that was not a conscious belief. It was really hidden in the back of my brain, in my bones. And so I was taking actions, but I was actually, accelerating and also holding myself back at the same time. And that's why, identifying your limiting belief and working on your mindset is so important, because you can put in place the changes 2, 3, and 4 that I'm going to share with you. If you're not open, like if your mindset is holding you back, you're not going to see different results. That's why it's the number one change. It's really a mindset change. Let me know in the chat if that resonates with you. And I see that we have Coralie who shared she wants to be more impactful as well as more free and have a team. That's her why, becoming financially sustainable. Great. So Coralie, ask yourself, that's the good thing that could happen. Now, what's your fear? Like, what's the bad thing that could happen? Because this can lead you to understand what's the mindset shift you need to make. All right. Now, let's have a look at the second change, which is all about automating your client experience. So I'm going to show you a typical client experience meaning all the different steps that a service provider and a client take from A to Z, and we're going to look at what's the impact of this process. Hopefully you'll recognize yourself in some of those steps. They might not all fit your exact business or your industry even, but those are this is a generic client experience that I'm sure you can relate to. So before the client becomes your client, you maybe prepare some stuff before meeting with them and explaining, how you could work together. Then you send a proposal, and then there is a back and forth. So in green is what you do. In orange is the part where both you and the client meet. And then the back and forth is basically the pink part is what is done by the client. Like I want to negotiate this or this part of your quote, and the green part is your part. So then they decide to work with you. Maybe you have like a small brief session, and then you do some work, you meet with them again, and so on. Sometimes the client do a part as well. But yeah, you alternate like work and then meeting and then work. And then you give access to the results at the end. Sometimes you also do some extra work after that because there's like comments or feedbacks or whatever. You want to do a good job, so you're like over delivering. And then the client continues on their own. So that's like a typical client experience for a service provider. The problem is that when you work like this, you provide like a tailor-made service, and it's very time intensive. And in fact, the client only sees the tip of the iceberg. They only see the orange part, but you're spending so much time and they don't see it. And so it means the leverage is on the the wrong side. Like you do a lot of work and they see a little part of it. The thing is, in the ethical sector, so for purpose-driven, impact-driven entrepreneurs, most of you, most service providers, don't want to charge luxury prices. So you end up doing a tailor-made service and selling prêt-à-porter, like we say in French. So, ready-made. You just sell like regular T-shirts, even though it's haute couture. And this is when you work too much for the money that you actually generate. You just spend too much time per client. And because you want to be accessible, you don't charge so much and you do much more work than the client can see. And this is really slowing down your revenues. But also, and I put it in, pink because it's even more important. When you do too much for your client, they depend on you instead of being empowered. And as someone who want to have a big impact, empowering your clients is going to be a really, really, really cool leverage, because you're not only going to make more money, but you're also going to have a much bigger impact. So let's have a look at what it could look like. So the preparation, you can automate that. That's why I put it in gray. I don't want you to spend time with someone who's not your client yet. The intro meeting can be super sharp. It doesn't need to drag for hours, days, weeks. And then the client can sign up for the advised solution. There's no back and forth and negotiating. You have an advised solution. They sign up or not, but this is how it goes. And then instead of a short brief, you can have like a longer kickstart. And then the work starts. And as you can see, the color has changed. Now it's the client who does a lot of work, and you sometimes maybe answer a question or something like that. You continue to have meetings and then, sometimes work. So you can do a part from time to time. Oops. Sorry, my screen sharing doesn't show the end of the slide. Anyways, and then at the end, you have some final recommendations, and the wrap-up should be automated. You shouldn't spend time once you gave your final recommendations. And then what happens is that the client can confidently continue on their own because they've been taking so much action already with your support. Now they're more confident. Plus, obviously, you're spending less time per client. So I removed the pink parts. And this is basically, how much less work you're spending. And if we grab everything and put them together, when, haute couture, you have one client, prêt-à-porter, you have 3 clients. So you can serve much more people at the same time and also have more empowered clients. So you're doing less work per client, but you're impacting more people and also having a longer term impact. Because really, like, when you empower your clients, when you teach them how to fish, instead of giving them a fish, fishing for them, then definitely you're going to have a much bigger impact. So I want to give you a couple of examples. The first one is my business. So for Creators for Good, before I put in place this strategy, I could have up to 8 clients in, simultaneously maximum. I was providing tailor-made services consisting mostly of consulting session. I'm a consultant. And I was also doing a lot of behind the scene work that my client didn't know about. And honestly, they were getting good results. After, I could have up to 15 simultaneous clients. So I almost doubled my capacity. And I packaged my service with different, so the sessions still that I continue to do, but also video trainings, templates, workbook. And what happened is that my clients started to have results beyond expectations. Remember those examples I shared with you at the beginning? So Mary was saying, it was the best investment she made in herself, but what she appreciated most was the tools in the methodology. Elena said, I got so much results out of the program. She didn't say like, Solène was great, a great consultant, or Solène did a good job. She said, I got so much results. And Dafa said, I have my destiny into my hands. It was empowering and motivational. This is when, you empower your clients. Your impact goes much beyond the work you do with them. And it can really, really transform your impact. Plus, of course, allow you to have more clients at the same time. So I want to give you a second example with a freelance web designer, because I'm sure some of you might say, well, I'm not a coach, I'm not a consultant. I do have to do work for my client that they cannot do. That's why they hire me. So let's have a look at a web designer, for instance. So that's a friend of mine. She could only take 1 client maximum per month because doing a website takes a lot of time. She was realizing that making a website often takes more time than expected because you reinvent the wheel for every client. So you really don't know actually how much time it's going to take. And sometimes you invoice 3 weeks of work and it takes 4 or 5. And she was ending up having very small margins. And the clients are happy, but dependent. They ask questions all the time because they don't really know, what happened behind the scenes. And so they get to, depend a lot on their web designer. By automating her client experience, what she did is actually create 2 templates with the things that most of her clients usually needed, which is, a home page, an about page, a service presentation page, and then a blog, contact, and the possibility to sign up for a freebie and access the newsletter. And basically, now that she has those pre-made templates, she could take up to 4 clients per month. So they are still tailor-made, but she's reusing the same ones with all of her clients. She also provides workbooks to help them, write down everything they need to put on the website. And she also provides video trainings so that her clients know how to make a small change without having to bother them and feel empowered that it's their own website. So now she has empowered clients. And of course, 4 times more clients than what she could have beforehand. So here is the step-by-step that you can put in place in order to automate your client experience. What I would advise you to do is to start by automating your prospect experience. So people who are not yet your client, this should be almost 100% automated. You shouldn't be spending time with people who are not your clients yet. Time is money. So, this can be done very easily with automated tools like automated calendar and email reminders. You can have a standard questionnaire. You can learn how to do a very sharp intro meeting and then have a standard contract, automated invoice, maybe give them access to welcome kit. That's what I do for my clients. They absolutely love it. It answers like the key questions they might have in mind before starting our work together. And then once you do that, you're going to free up some time because you're not going to be spending time with people who are not your clients yet. And this will allow you to add tools to your existing methodology and start empowering your existing clients. You can give that to them as a bonus, even though it's not part of what they signed for, because you're going to be providing more value that they thought. This is when you also, start having people say it was beyond their expectations. So you can record video trainings. You can help your clients to learn how to fish by creating templates or workbooks or whatever tool is appropriate for your business. And then once this is ready, you can create new standard offers packaging your services. So create a standard service description showcasing the full value of what you offer, update your website, and maybe start using a client management tool like Asana or Trello or things like that, so that your client experience is standardized. And no matter if you have 2 or 10 or 20 clients, you can still deliver the same level of service. So by following the simple steps, you can double and later even triple your current capacity while delivering more value and having a bigger impact. So right now, for example, with Creators for Good, I can have up to 24 different clients at the same time. Remember in the slide, I said 15 because once I reached my full capacity of 15 clients, then I had enough money to hire team members to delegate some tasks so that I can, I could then have more time to have more clients, and the snowball effects really starts and amplifies. But at the beginning, I only doubled my capacity, but it was already a huge shift. And especially with seeing my clients having better results, that's very encouraging. Now, you might be wondering, okay, but how is it possible to have more clients? Because I don't want to have to sell more. Or maybe you're asking yourself, well, how can the demand increase with a more standard offer? Because right now, if you're tailor making your services for each and every client, they have different demands. And by standardizing your offer, it means that sometimes you will have to say no to potential clients who don't meet your requirements. And that's really okay. This is what we're going to talk about right now, which is all about automating your marketing. So at the moment, I'm guessing you're doing a bunch of different things to attract leads to your business. It can be speaking and networking. It can be social media. You have your website, maybe you blog, maybe you send a newsletter, maybe post. Maybe you email people individually. Maybe you offer a free trial or diagnostic or discovery session or something like that. And maybe, you spend a lot of time following up with everyone individually. Now, what I want to encourage you to do is to automate all that and create a system. So that's one example of system. It doesn't have to be exactly like that. It depends a lot on, your business and what's working for you. But basically, the offline effort, I suggest to make it much smaller than your online one, because when you speak at an event offline, you can touch, I don't know, 20, 100 people, but that's a one-time thing. When you're sharing things online, they continue to live long after you've finished creating them. And so that's why, like, this is so much more powerful. The leverage is bigger, this is why I wanted to spend more efforts on the online side of things. And in terms of one-to-one, no emailing people individually unless they are your actual client or very, very interested prospects. You should automate your emails, have a newsletter set up, because this is what is going to lead you to have demands, and you'll spend less time following up as well once you put in place a system like that. For this to work, because you might be thinking, well, that's already what I'm doing, it's super important to have very specific call to action and to lead people into the next step every time they encounter you. So they see you on social media and bam, you lead them to your website. And once they're there, they discover your blog and sign up to your newsletter. And then they get automated in your newsletter, and then bam, they request a free trial. And then there is an automated follow-up, and bam, they become a client. And that's basically why we call it automated. So you're gonna, spend less time taking action and more time creating call to actions. But the most beautiful part of it all is that you can also start tracking your KPIs, your key performance indicators, and the conversion rate. So, for example, out of the people who see you on social media, how many are going to your website? And out of them, how many are signing up to your newsletter? And out of them, how many are doing a free trial? And this is what we actually call a sales funnel. So it's in the shape of a reversed pyramid. And people, get to know, like, and trust you. Obviously, not everyone who knows you is going to like you, and not everyone who likes you is going to trust you, and not everyone who likes you is going to buy from you. But this is the type of mechanism you want to have in place in your business. First of all, it helps people getting more and more engaged with your brand. The prospect becomes a qualified prospect and then a happy client. So you're not selling to people who are not ready, who don't really like and trust you just yet. You're keeping that for the most engaged people. So it's much more authentic. And also, this process is what will make your marketing so much more predictable. Hello, visibility on the future and relaxed entrepreneur. So, for example, with Creators for Good, I know exactly, how many people I get on my website, and then how many of them sign up to my newsletter, how many of them ask, for like to meet with me to learn about my services. And out of that, how many of them become a client. And so I can predict, with looking at my website traffic, how many clients I will have in 1, 2, 3 months. And the other thing I wanted to share with you regarding that is that, so this year, 2018, Creators for Good is actually reaching over 100K euros. So we are passing the 6-figure mark. But I don't have millions of people following me on social media or millions of people on my website. I just have enough. I think I have like 2,000 people liking my Facebook page. So it's not a huge number. But again, I'm serving 24 clients at once. So I don't need, to do marketing in an extremely quantitative way. So this is also the goodness of automating your marketing, is that you're going to be able to measure your effort and not just shoot in the dark and hope, someone will hear you and become your client, but really take action, knowing exactly what it's going to create, and also feeling relaxed that this is enough for you to have a rolling business, especially when you start delegating and having people on your team. You need to pay them every month, So this is super important to put in place, and I can testify that it makes the whole entrepreneurial journey much more relaxing. So again, less work once you have an efficient sales funnel, less work, and then more rich relationship building over time and predictable result. And this is really what we are all after. I'm guessing. All right, last change, and then we're gonna see the little bonus and go into the Q&A. The last change is to become the captain of your ship. So right now, maybe you've been a matelot, meaning like you're doing a lot of effort, but you're not really looking at where you're going, and you're letting external forces command where you're going. So they might be needy prospects for who you design a brand new offer because they say they want this. Maybe it's shiny objects. So the shiny object syndrome is like, you see that successful entrepreneur doing an online course, and so you're like, oh, maybe I should do an online course, or that one doing a webinar, and you're like, oh, maybe I should do a webinar, and then that one doing this, and then that one doing that, and you're just like pulled into every direction, but not really going anywhere. What I really want you to do is to become the captain of your ship, meaning have a super clear vision and extra clear goals, like how many clients do you need? Like, you say that you want to make a good living out of your business. Well, how much that is, and then how much do you need in terms of overall income? Like, if you want a salary of, I don't know, 3,000 euros, then maybe you need 5,000 euro of income on a monthly basis. How much visibility do you need? So do you need 1,000 people on your website, 5,000 people on your website, 10,000, 1 million? Like, this is super important. You need to know those numbers. And to be honest, so I mentor entrepreneurs who are starting their social business, but also entrepreneurs who are struggling to make a living out of it. And what I noticed is that the one thing they have in common, they might be in many different industries, the people who don't make a good living with their business, most of the time they have unclear goals. They don't really know where they are going. And so that's really, really up to you to define a vision and get super clear on your goals. And then inspire others by your choices instead of being pulled in many directions or getting influenced by what your competitors do or what non-ideal clients think they need. Because sometimes you'll get requests from people who are not ideal clients, and they will say, but this is what I need. And if this is not what you want to provide, then it's okay to say no, and it's okay to leave space for what you really want to contribute to. So if it's something that you've been struggling with, I'm here to let you know that it's really okay. It creates space for what you really want. My conclusion is that you can really do this if you become the captain of your own ship and you automate your client experience, your marketing, and with the right mindset, you can do it. And I'm sharing that with you because I see also a lot of people who are struggling on their own, and they think that maybe they need a co-founder, or maybe they need investors. That's not true. You can really do this if you apply those 4 changes. Because I've done it by myself. I didn't have a large team. I didn't have resources like money to pay for Facebook ads or things like that when I reached financial sustainability. So it's really, really doable once you change your mindset and put in place those changes. Now, I want to share with you a bonus surprise because you might want to receive my personal opinion on your situation. What I've shared with you can't apply to everyone, every 130 people who signed up for this workshop. And so I really want to offer this opportunity to you. I can't do it for everyone, so that's why it's limited to 10 entrepreneurs. But let's see if it could be you. So you want my personal opinion on your situation and want to validate what are the next steps for you to get closer to your goals. You're committed to succeed at your own business in your own way and in order to have a positive impact on the planet and in a sustainable way. You're curious about how my methodology can support you to grow your own impactful and profitable business at your own rhythm. And you want to test and try what it could be like to have a mentor to help you find your flow. If that is your case, then I invite you to apply for a discovery session with me. Again, this is something that's limited to 10 entrepreneurs. I won't have time to receive all the 100 people who signed up. But for the most motivated of you, I'm offering this free audit. So you're filling out a questionnaire, and then we have a 45-minute one-on-one call to make sure that you can apply the advices that I have shared with you today. So this is the URL, but you can actually find it under the video. I've referenced it somewhere, so you can have a look there. And last but not least, one of my favorite quotes is, what you get by achieving your goals is not as important as who you become by achieving them. By Henry David Thoreau. And really, really becoming the CEO of your business, becoming the captain of your ship is so empowering for you, for your clients, for the impact you're going to have. So much more important than the actual, money that's going to be generated in the meantime. So yeah, this is what I wanted to share with you. Thank you for your participation. I'm going to stop sharing and have a look at your questions in the chat because we are almost reaching the end of our hour together, but I really want to take a moment to make sure that I can address your questions. So Eleonore says, I don't understand how you have your client do the work. Basically, what I mean by having your clients do the work is you creating tools, templates, videos, trainings, questionnaires, anything that you can support them with taking action by themselves and with your help while you're providing the service, so that once you're done working with them, they're empowered and they can continue on their own with confidence. Eleonore, if you want to give me your specific activity, I can give you a more specific answer as well, because I've given you 2 examples in the presentation already, how a web designer can do it, how a consultant or a coach like I am can do it. But if that's not enough for you to project yourself, then let me know in the chat. All right, so we had other comments. So Noemi said, I'd be afraid to be loved, used for my money, just realized that. Okay, Noemi, that's super, super interesting. That's a very common limiting belief, especially for women, but I believe men can suffer from that as well. But sometimes, we keep ourselves small for reasons that we don't even realize, and this is what self-sabotaging is like. So I'm glad that you can actually realize that during this session. Eleonore is saying, thanks, I'm a sustainable tourism consultant. Amazing. I actually have one client nowadays who's into sustainable tourism as well. Well, basically, if you want your clients to, so your mission as a sustainable tourism consultant, I'm guessing, is to help your clients travel in a responsible way. So what you can do is create packages, like pre-made packages, where that doesn't require you to redo the work for each and every client. You can have like a couple of choices and your clients choose that. But you can also educate them on what it means to be a sustainable traveler. So you can create videos for them to prepare their trips. You can create a worksheet where they know how to compensate their carbon footprint if they take an airplane to travel or even their car. You can share them a guidebook of the location and what are the do's and don'ts when they travel. And all those things, you can share them with all your different clients, meaning your individual client is going to get so much out of working with you when you just create a number of things and share it with everyone. So you're going to spend less time and have a bigger impact. Does that make sense? I'd love to have your feedback while we still have some time. And if anyone else has questions, now it's the moment, because we are almost at the end of our hour together, and I'll soon be hanging up. But I was really glad to share this moment with you, and I hope it was insightful. Thank you very much for coming and for participating in this workshop. I'm, again, really, really passionate about this topic of financial sustainability, and I really believe that the world would be such a better place if all the social entrepreneurs, if all the ethically driven entrepreneurs would really thrive and not just make good money, but have an amazing impact. Because if only the big corporations make good money, our world is not going to change. So I'm counting on you. And then, Eleonore, you shared, but my clients are more B2B, government agencies, etc. Yeah, I think it can be adapted to B2B. I have a number of clients who work B2B. Now, it's true that sometimes you work in a field where people are used to having tailor-made services by freelancers. So it means you also need to educate them on the value it will have to have a package service as opposed to a tailor-made one. If you want to have a closer look at what it would exactly look like for you, Eleonore, don't hesitate to apply for a discovery session. Again, the link is under the video, and this is the best way I can really dig into the nitty-gritty detail of your specific business and activity. So yeah, I'm gonna hang out. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming, and I hope you enjoyed this workshop, and see you later. Bye-bye.